Panty and breakfast.
25, look, PPL is here. My favorite time of year. Blood, sweat, and tears dripping all over the gear. Yeah, NFL is back, so is PPL. Let the game get started. Time to see who will prevail. Yeah, the wait is over. Yeah, it's time for fantasy. It's time to draft and build a team that's capable to win the ring. As the GAFF attack back to back and try to get him free. He's chilling on the throne where everybody wants to be. Yeah, we all want the money. Everybody pay the fee. For me, I'm trying to win it just to brag about my team. Everybody wants to read, but it ain't easy to achieve it. But believe it when I say it, feels so good when you receive it. Yeah, BBL is back, BBL the league is whack. You can say I'm talking smack, now I'm only speaking fact. Every week we got the live show, each year we got a nice flow. The others they can see us like they're playing with their eyes closed. PPL we ride, PPL we live, PPL we high, we the best you can't deny. Welcome to the live show, life be like the sideshow. You know and I know that PPL's a war zone, 100-yard battlefield, helmets as a battle shield. PPL we're back for real, time to draft and make a deal. Alpha versus Omega, battle with the fantasy, a game of intelligence, sacrifice and strategy.
Here we are in October. The leaves are turning brown and PPL Live is hitting its stride. Week 5 of the season. Ulysses, give us a what's up.
What's up, PPL?
We here, we ready to go, but before we get into week 5, we gotta take an eye back to our week 4 scores. Starting with squad underestimated, getting the big Monday night comeback behind Bo Nix, 143 to the Argonauts, 133. Only for the boss. Gets it done in a big time win. Gets by the champ GAFF attack, 141 to 133. I need about TREY FIDDY. Needed that win and they got it. 145 to Kev's 117. The United play as the Destroyers leave no doubt in style and appease the gods undefeated season, 151 to 77. And the Skulls get back on track with a much-needed victory, 132 to Patty's Twins, 111. Hey, man, this was a up and down week in the PPL. Very, very interesting. The top went to the bottom, and the bottom went to the top, man. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, we have fully entered parity mode of the season. I mean, this week just showed it. Nobody's safe. It's early on. Anything can happen.
All right, let's take one eye back to our week 4 games with the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, man, give it to me. Let's share the good, bad, and ugly for this past week's game.
Yeah, I mean, my good's going to be to the boss. I mean, I said it last week. I expected an upset, and they delivered in a big way.
Definitely.
Patrick Mahomes led the way. The Chiefs got a statement win against Baltimore, and he really got it in most places. But, I mean, in the core lineup, I mean, he's still having issues to scoring, but, I mean, he's consistently getting production out of those intangibles, your defense, your kicker. And, again, when the Chiefs win, he's going to win. This was a crucial win for seeding in the Alpha Conference. He stays in pole position. It was just a quality win against the champ and leaves the GAFF reeling at 2-2 after a strong start.
All right, man, who's your bad?
Bad's going to be the Twins, man. I think that, you said it, the Twins finally let the Skulls crack into the win column. Not a divisional game that they could afford to lose. But the big reason that they're a loser was the injury to Malik Neighbors. That's just crushing. This team's been dealing with injuries. They did not need that. It was just a bad week for the Twins.
All right, man, who's your ugly?
Ugly's got to be appease the gods. I mean, they could not crack the 100 mark, did not even come close, got doubled up by the UP. There's injury concerns about Lamar Jackson. And, I mean, outside of Bijan Robinson, this team's scoring has been incredibly inconsistent. Yeah. The appease the gods needs to shake something up. They're sitting pretty at 3-1, but in order to keep that going as we enter interconference play, they need something major to happen.
No, man, definitely, man. Definitely ATG. They ended up getting bit by that rookie bug this week, and that's my good this week. The rookies really stood out. Rookies to the rescue. And, let's talk about it. Ashton Genty, huge day. 34 points for the United Players, the Destroyers. Tyler Warren has been a revelation as a tight end. The GAFF bragged about him in the preseason. He got him a crucial 15.8. Despite the loss, he was very impressive. The Argonauts got a big day from Emeka Egbuka. And then, of course, the rookie of rookie performances for me was Omarion Hampton, giving the Trey FIDDY the big day for them to punch into that win column, man. So that was my good. My bad actually is going to be the top dogs. A lot of them let it slip at a time where I thought that they could gap out. I'm looking at the GAFF slipping one to only for the boss. Appease the gods, laying an egg against the United Players, the Destroyers. Obviously, the Twins letting the Skulls slow down their momentum. Those three Omega Conference teams, because the conference is so competitive, need those wins where they can get them. So that was my bad. I thought that some of the top dogs let games slip that they probably might lead later in the season. And my ugly, man, is the same consistent thing. It's that injury bug. I mean, we're looking at another season-ending injury with Malik Neighbors going out for the year with a torn ACL. Obviously, Lamar Jackson going down is huge for Appease the Gods. The injury bug is just seeming to bite more teams and bite them even harder. And it's going to be interesting to see how these teams bounce back for that. Do you have something with that? No, all right. But that being said, what's past this prologue. Week 4 is over. Week 5 is upon us. And we go into our Week 5 matchups. And we start with a huge game in the Alpha Conference. One team starting to survive. One team trying to strive. We got Squad Underestimated taking on I Need About Trey FIDDY. All right, man, Trey FIDDY coming off their first win of the season. He looked really impressive with that 145-point showing. One of the best weeks that they've had probably in their team's history. Now they come up against a Squad Underestimated team that's riding high, winners of 3 straight, man. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I think you said it. I saw a lot of things last week that I really liked about Trey FIDDY, especially on Marion Hampton. This guy was drafted, I believe, second in this year's draft, and I think showed why in that matchup. I like a lot of the players that Trey FIDDY has. We saw Harrison Jr. come on late, make up for it. Jaden Daniels is battling injury, though. Quinshon Judkins looking like he's probably going to be the starting guy going forward in Cleveland. But again, those just don't match up to your Dax, to your Saquons, to your Christian. This guy's down Tyreek Hill, but he's got the number 1 and 4 wide receivers in Nakua and Johnston. So, he's not even running a coach this week. I like the confidence, and I think, honestly, he's primed to win this divisional matchup. Okay. I've got Squad going for 4 in a row. I've got him going 128. I need about Trey FIDDY's 117.
All right, man. I actually smell an upset here. Looking at it the other way. I think that Trey FIDDY has a lot to be excited about with their future. Omarion Hampton and Quinshon Judkins, they finally got the rookies that they need to, go forward with their identity. Now, they may need to do some things at wide receiver because they do have a lot of guys on bye. But at the same time, I'm looking at Wilson against that Dallas defense. That's looking like a smash start. And Marvin Harrison's going up against Tennessee. I think that he can get some things done. Now, on Squad Underestimated side, it's been looking really, really good so far. However, let's be real. Christian McCaffrey and Puka Nacua are going to let him know right out the gate how things are going to be. Thursday night matchups can get a little slow at times, and that could potentially slow Squad Underestimated down. I think that the Colts defense is just an average play. He's really sticking with that, but I'm not seeing really the huge benefit of that. Dak Prescott is really going to be the interesting one for me, man. We've seen a pattern with Dak already so far this season. One hot that you least expect, another cold, another hot, another cold. He's almost due for a cold one this week at New York. He just doesn't play quite as well outside of Dallas, so it's going to be interesting to see there. At the end of the day, I smell the upset. I just really like what Trey FIDDY's starting to brew here, especially if a Jaden Daniels appearance is made for him. I got Trey FIDDY getting this one in an upset, 131 to continue his high scoring. So Squad Underestimated is 127. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into the Omega Conference for a big one between these two teams. The United players seem to have found their identity, but the Skulls are hanging on for dear life, trying to come out of the crypt. We got the United players, the Destroyers, taking on the Skulls. All right, man, in past years, the Skulls, no matter how good they are, they just cannot beat the United players, the Destroyers. If they needed a victory at any time, they need one now. What do you think of this matchup, Skulls, UP?
I don't think they're going to get it. I mean, as I look at this, like, yes, they have Josh Allen. He's a stud. He's got UP's got Bill's coach, so not a complete check, but against that,
that's a pretty good check.
Pretty good check.
Yeah.
With the running back situation, he ended up going with DeMercado with the injuries racking up in Arizona. And again, DeMercado's not a bad option, but is he going to be an every down banger back? No. Jamar Chase with Browning? No. Zay Flowers without Lamar? No. I just don't like any of those options. And again, you said it. He's got Cowboys D against New York. We'll see how that looks. But I mean, Daniel Jones, even in a loss, is still playing very good. Derrick Henry, I think, is going to have to be a factor for Baltimore if Lamar's not playing. Genty finally came out. George Pickens is a real stud out there right now. And again, I just like his lineup. I've actually got, this team went for 151 last week. I've actually got UP leaving no doubt again this week. I think they go out and ride against the Skulls like they always do. Okay. I'm going to say they go 145 to the Skulls 113.
Man, I got to agree with you here. I'm liking the United players and what they've got brewing on their team. Keenan Allen in the flex. I think Jalen Waddle's due for a huge target uptick. George Pickens is looking great. And I mean, Ashton Genty finally showed why he was the number one pick in the PPL draft. That was a great performance by him. And it was a statement performance against an undefeated Appease the Gods team in the Omega Conference. That was vital for the United players season, I thought. When I look at the Skulls, man, I'm kind of leaning towards you, man. Some of these plays I'm not really feeling. I don't like the Cowboys defense. They're Swiss cheese, man. Anybody can run. They leave holes everywhere. That Colts head coach, I think the Colts are due to kind of come back to earth a little bit. They're a good team, but I don't think they're the kind of team that can be trusted week in and week out. And I think the Raiders might be ripe to come in there and upset them because they haven't won the game yet. One thing I am encouraged with the Skulls is the emergence of R.J. Harvey, and I do like that they picked up DeMercado. It shows that they're still paying attention and not giving in. They still got a lot of fight in them, and I think that they're going to give the United players a fight this week, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I got the United players getting this one 129 to the Skulls 121. And moving on to our next matchup, we go back into the Alpha Conference for a huge game between these two teams. We got the Argonauts taking on Only for the Boss. All right, man, the Argonauts and Only for the Boss clashing here in a big win in the Alpha Conference. Patrick Mahomes sit there waiting on Monday night. The Argonauts, however, are in the upper echelon of scoring in the PPL once again. What do you think of this one, Argo, Only for the Boss?
Well, I mean, to your ugly, Gino, I mean, Argos have been one of those teams when you're looking at the injuries that have racked up. Joe Burrow, Pearsall, Jennings, Spears, you're talking high draft picks, you're talking keepers, you're talking trade acquisitions. It's just unfortunate when you see stuff like this going. Now, Baker Mayfield last week, again, terrible half, came back strong, but again, he's going to be going against the number one defense in the league in Seattle. I think that's a much tougher matchup for him. I think Woody Marks is a great call here against a Baltimore team that just has shown that defensively they're just not there. Justin Jefferson, I mean, again, I think he's better off than when J.J. McCarthy was in. And again, we're all waiting for this Houston offense to click. They have the talent. I think we're just waiting failure to launch. Everything else is a strong start. But I really like the Boss's lineups this week. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and company going against the Jacksonville team that are going to be coming off of that win. And I think that they can easily go in there, take care of business, and all of his guys should eat. And let's be honest, I mean, Travis Kelce's been doing decent, but by his numbers, not great. I think he's due for probably a bigger week. What I've liked about Only for the Boss, and I think it's one thing that is going to be an X factor for him going forward, is James Cook. You know, quietly the number one back in fantasy, and this has been an area that Boss just hasn't diversified in the past. He's got a much better spread of talent with other guys on the squad. I think Debo came in and is shown, like, with the injuries going on over there, and he's even banged up, but he's the number one guy, I think. I like the Texans D start against Baltimore.
Right.
I just think ultimately Only for the Boss has just the edge here, and I think that they get the Argo, and I'm going to say this is a higher scoring affair. I think that this goes 133 for Only for the Boss, 130 for the Argos.
All right, man. I'm going the other way. I'm looking at this matchup, and while it is good and it screams Only for the Boss, especially with the matchup, I think we get lured into the Chiefs matchup to kind of decide how Only for the Boss is going to do. They are on the road. It is a game that I expect them to win, but I don't know. I think it'll be pretty competitive. And Jacksonville quietly leads the league in turnovers, so that's going to be something that's going to be interesting. On the Argonaut side, it is going to really come down, I think, to how their running backs perform. They haven't gotten a lot of running back production, and that's typically been a strong suit of the Argos. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how the running back position does. I think that it actually can hold them over and get them into the win column here. I say they squeak by Only for the Boss. I say the Chiefs' defense is a nice check to have on Monday night against all the Chiefs love that we're going to see. I got the Argonauts getting this one. 124 to Only for the Boss is 117. And moving on to our next matchup, we go on to our interconference matchup of the week. We got Killer Kev of Alpha taking on Omega's Appease the Gods. All right, man. ATG sitting at 3-1. Killer Kev sitting at 1-3. The Packers are on the bye, so Kev's going to have to get creative, man. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, and I think that's the X factor for me. I've actually got Appease the Gods in a lock of the week performance here. Not that I expect any major fireworks from them. They just have greater bench strength that will come into play here. Even with both Bijan Robinson on a bye, Lamar looking like he's not going to play, which means Caleb Williams, he's going with Bryce Young. I mean, not the greatest, but I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do.
Right.
Killer Kev, on the other hand, I mean, again, is likely going to go with C.J. Stroud, who struggled. Maybe he feasts at Baltimore. I mean, if he doesn't, I mean, when is it going to occur?
Right.
And ultimately, I think he gets Etienne in this lineup, makes it a little bit more competitive, but he's got to go find a new D. He's got to go find a new coach. And I just think he's got a little too many holes to fill right now. Appease the Gods should cruise in this one. I've got Appease the Gods going 125 to Killer Kev's 93.
You know what, honestly, man, this is a really tough matchup to predict because I'm not really feeling Appease the Gods' replacements right now. And if Killer Kev does get a competent lineup in, I think he's capable of getting this matchup. When I'm looking at the matchups, I mean, ATG kind of bottomed out at 60, and that was when Lamar and Bijan and DJ Moore were in the lineup. He's not going to have the luxury of having any of those guys this week. A lot of the guys that he is throwing in there, I do like Bryce Young's matchup, but Bryce has gotten benched in 2 of the 4 games this year. David Montgomery is a dice roll. It really depends on whether they want to give him goal line run. And Chuba Hubbard didn't practice today, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Now, at the receiver position, I like where ATG is going and at tight end. That flex, I'm still not a big Trey Tucker guy, but they did fill out their defense and their head coach roles, I think, pretty well, especially with Seattle having that top defense. Now, on Killer Kev's side, Achan's a money play. I think Williams is a good play. Dalton Kincaid is capable, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is a top 10 PPO receiver. So he's got some room for fireworks. Can he get it done? Does a C.J. Stroud appearance happen? Probably. But in the end, I can't say it's enough. I see where there's potential, but I'm going to go with what I know. At the end of the day, I think Appease the Gods probably will get this one. Just based on what I'm seeing right now, I got ATG getting this one 110 to Killer Kev's 92. And moving on to our prestige matchup of the week. Big one here in the Omega Conference. Two teams deadlocked at 2-2. Two teams with high aspirations. Two teams with Pantheon Cup aspirations. We got Patty's Twins taking on the GAFF Attack. All right, man, here it is. The blood feud of the Omega Conference. Center stage on the PPL's biggest stage. Prestige matchup of the week. What do you think of this one? Twins, GAFF Attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that's unfortunate about this matchup is that they're not going full tilt against each other. Both sides dealing with injuries, and again, it's just coming down to how are we filling holes. Now, whenever I look at GAFF, I can tell you, man, the biggest and most glaring issue on this team is going to be this QB play. Justin Fields at Dallas. I don't know if that's real. I certainly wouldn't be going there if I had Jalen Hurts. I mean, again, if that's where he's going to go, go with God. For that reason alone, I'm questioning his decision making, and I'm going to go with Patty Twins this week.
Oh wow.
Even with the injuries, again, if he's going to go Justin Fields over Jalen Hurts right now, yeah. I don't know where he's at. Denver's not that good in comparison to Dallas, and Dallas can surely give up stuff, but again, I just don't see it. Okay. When I look at Patty's Twins, given all the injuries they have, these guys are still putting up big time numbers. Guys are getting in the house. Number 2 running back in Jonathan Taylor. He's been a major recipient of just offensive production with Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. He's been waiting for that. Amon St. Brown is the number 2. Jake Ferguson has been feasting in Dallas. I think that overwhelmingly can get this. They've got the Eagles coach at Denver, which means to me, and this is why I've got it, the GAFF is letting stuff like that impact who he's putting in his lineup. Okay. Well, they're playing Eagles coach, so I don't want the Eagles to win, so I'm not going to play those guys because I think they're going to win. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Are you accusing the GAFF of that magical thinking again?
Well, it works for him. That's the thing. So if it works here, Rams, I think, have a good shot. San Francisco's missing a lot of starters. Yeah. But this guy's playing, again, the Browns D against Minnesota, that could be a feast or famine play. Yeah. Again, he's got all the right pieces here. I just don't understand the quarterback play, and I think that's ultimately to his detriment and costs him this matchup. I'm going to say Patty's Twins gets this quality matchup, 128 to the GAFF Attacks, 124.
All right, man, I'm with you. Yes, Stephon Diggs being in that lineup, is that real? Is my question. I'm also looking at Patty's Twins. Xavier Worthy. Do you realize that he unlocked the Chiefs' offense last week? It got disgusting on the Baltimore Ravens, and Xavier Worthy was a big part of that. Expect that to continue on Monday night in Jacksonville. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a man amongst boys when it comes to receiver. He's the guy that don't get hurt. He's the guy that's going to get that red zone target. He's the guy that's going to produce for his team every week, and Patty's Twins has been the biggest recipient of that. Where the Twins really need to get things rolling again is at that quarterback spot. Justin Herbert has had a couple of subpar weeks after starting very, very hot. I think that this is a prime matchup for him to get back to himself after I saw Michael Penix do to that Washington defense. I think the Twins get a kicker in. I'm with you, though, at the end of the day, man. Not impressed with the GAF's decision-making right now. He knows A.J. Brown's not going to get targeted, especially when they put Pat Surtain on that ass. Stephon Diggs is a crapshoot. Justin Fields is that magical thinking. I think he thinks that Dallas is just going to be a turnstile for whoever they play. I'd rather go with the tried and true and Jalen Hurts. Bucky Irving is ailing, and I think the GAF is going to continue to ail. I got Patty's Twins in the Leave No Doubt performance, getting this one 147 to the GAF's 122. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another great week of PPL Live. Week 5 is in the books. See you next week for Week 6. We will start interconference warfare when it always gets good and very, very dramatic. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a good weekend. Good luck, and may the odds be ever in your favor.